Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tpop. You might be wondering why we are still on the title screen. And funny story, I wasn't exactly set up on time, and so we decided to do the big reveal to see if everything stayed set up exactly the way we were supposed to, because I really didn't think about this
Oh,
once
is
we were
that what
live.
we decided? Is that
Yeah,
what we decided?
yeah, that's what we decided. We
We decided
decided we were totally think
in
we have
unison. This was a
we
joint
have
decision.
no communication errors whatsoever. It wasn't the fact that none of us knew if the other was hosting tonight or not. So let's see. But yeah, no, didn't do shit. Cool. That's fine. This actually might still be measured. Hey,
There's you.
eh, it's not so bad actually. Like it's actually we have to I have to article. Okay, well damn it. Why is it all grouped like that? Here for a second. Perfect. Okay, let's try this again. So, um, yeah, we're professionals.
Yeah,
We're
we
good
do
at
this.
we're good at what we do. I'm actually gonna need to probably reactivate the actual showing of an article when we get to that point, but we'll cross that bridge. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm kind of hearing myself through your audio a little bit,
I'm
but
hoping that's strictly on your end and not Dream's end. I think I'm
it shouldn't be going through the stream. I think it's probably like your headphones are going through the mic or something.
is a phenomenal feat considering they're not that loud. Um,
Mine do it too from time to time.
but yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about this week for once, which makes me nervous about next week because I've noticed this pattern where we get a whole bunch of content for one week and then the next week it's like, what the fuck are we gonna talk about?
And then
So
we just sit there twiddling our thumbs.
yeah, well, like what the fuck? What are you gonna talk about? I don't know, George. What do you want to talk about? And then it just like it just keeps going. Which I was excited about tonight's stream because of the content until just now when that ugly thought entered my head. But
that we're throwing all our eggs in one basket.
again, yeah, we have no portion control. Like we don't. Of course, I mean like
We just blow all our cooldowns at the same time.
yeah. Well, that's the same. I mean, we kind of have to though because we only stream the show once a week, and it's like things become very irrelevant very quickly in
That
in
they
this
do.
in this field. So you kind of have to talk about it. And so, with that, speaking of audio, do me a favor and check in on our stream to make sure I'm actually being here because now. So before we get into any of the articles and stuff, there's a game that I've been playing that, of course, I've been wanting to talk about on stream for a long time now, and that is Days Gone. Um, I'm finally here on the show to actually be able to talk about it, and I'm so happy I get to talk about it because the game is legit.
Why
Game
is
is
it? How so?
actually legit. There's so many reasons. So, Days Gone, for those of you that don't know, is essentially the newest, or I guess one of the newer in a long line of zombie survival type games. You play as a man named Deacon, and you were a member of a MC called the Mongrels Outlaw Biker Club, and so that's why you ride around on a motorcycle for the game. The zombies in the game are called freakers. There are different types of freakers that you see throughout the game. I think no, I still have one type of freaker left to discover, but I think I've seen everything else. That ranges from infected humans to there's actually some infected animals that you have to deal with as well. Like infected wolves are called runners, and infected bears are called ragers. So I just fought my first rager on stream earlier in my stream, and it was kind of terrifying. So
Well, if the gameplay's slow, like Caver likes the grind, I've noticed. Steven. So that kind of plays towards like Caver embraces the grind more than a lot of people do.
So, and here's what I'll say about it is, if you're looking for fast pace all the time, yeah, this is not the game. But this game brings a lot of interesting things to the table. I'm not gonna say it's not too grindy, in my opinion. Like it takes you a little bit to get up to where, like, you've got some good stuff, but not too long. Like I feel that they balance that out very, very well. Deacon is what is called a drifter, which means he hasn't settled down in any particular camp, and so you'll discover multiple encampments with different people throughout the game, and you earn trust, reputation with the camp, along with credits. And the credits...
So there's a faction system.
It's kind of, yeah. It's improving with one does not affect your relationship with the other. They stay separate, and a drifter is kind of understood to be, I do business with everybody. So long as I don't do anything that directly interferes with you, then I can go and do my business with them, and it's fine. So, nothing along that line as far as it makes your life harder to go with one or the other. In fact, it's really integral to get your rep up with all the camps that you run into, because some of them have stuff that the others do not. Like the first camp you run into has a lot of upgrades for your bike, which is very, very crucial, especially in the early game. Because to give a little bit of the story away, you start off with a great bike that Deacon has worked for years on, and then it gets stolen by the people from the first camp who offer to do maintenance on the new one that they give you, which is a piece of shit. So, yeah. Oh my god. I was sitting there like, are you serious? It was a nice bike. It was like, oh cool, this is what riding on the bike is going to be like, and I'm gonna, when the game first started, I'm thinking I'm gonna upgrade from there, and then something happens to your bike, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to repair the bike now. Okay, cool. It's gonna teach me the repair mechanic, and then I go back to where I left the bike for it to be repaired, and it wasn't there. And so then you follow a guy back to the camp who's like, you stole my bike, and the camp leader insists. He's like, not stolen, salvaged. You asshole. So anyway, so there's that.
Do you have the option to shoot him?
No. Which old footage of this game reveals that there was a choice system with dialogue and such. There is no longer. Final product did not have that. I'm a little sad about that. But the story has went really well. To the point that I don't really much mind that there's not choice, because your character's not a moron all the time. I mean, there are moments, but for the most part, he's pretty good. But yeah, so the first camp has bike upgrades, and the second camp you meet in the story has a lot of guns. Which of course, obviously, zombie apocalypse. Yeah, you want guns. Third camp has a mix of the two, and so on and so forth. And so yeah, very, very important. A lot of side missions and stuff to do, including burning out freaker nests, which are fun. Throw a Molotov in this big gob of branches, and who knows what the fuck else they built. Freakers run out, you shoot, you move on to the next one. There is a day and night cycle, as well as weather patterns that you have to watch for, to which the freaks will behave differently in. At night, freakers are out and about more, which means there are less freakers inside the nests themselves. So if you know where there's an infection zone, you could go in at night, burn the nest, deal with less freakers. Unfortunately, with that strategy, as I found out, you also have the possibility of running into a horde. That is terrifying. That is actually legitimately terrifying. I'll say one of the biggest bragging points I have about this game, because I could talk about it, and I'll end with this point, and then we'll go on to the other stuff, because I have to make sure that we can still see articles. Um, this game gives you the feeling like, I mean, you're by yourself when you're going out in this world, and you hear zombies all over the place, wolves howling in the distance, or you hear that unique sound of 60 of them in a horde walking down the road, and they could be coming towards you, but you don't know. And then, of course, to add to the drama, your bike is almost out of gas, and you have to decide, where can I make it to? And it's just, it's a tense time. Like, it gets really stressful very, very quickly. I actually survived I had to go into a Nero is the science organization that's in it, and they have these little checkpoints around, and you have to figure out how to get in them. And there's like a horde of easily over 100 freakers, very, very close. And every time you gain power back to the checkpoint, the power comes on, and these big sound speakers go off. And if you haven't cut them down or shoot them down yet, sound draws the zombies in. And so ideally, you go around, you cut all the speakers down, and you're good. Well, I thought I had cut all the speakers down. No, I missed 2. One was in the dead middle of the compound where I was. I'm like, oh God, no. So I shot it down real quick, and that all the freakers diverted to the one I forgot on the outskirts. So I'm like, okay, cool. We'll just leave you there. And then I ran into a new problem of now they're swarming out in front of the compound where I parked my bike. I was like, and inside the compound, after you unlock it, there's a bed so you can save your progress and all this other stuff. But no, you can't save and use the bed while an alarm is active. And an alarm is active while the speaker's on. So here I am about ready to do all this work for nothing. I finally end up killing the power. Horde retreats. I get my bike and I get the fuck out. And so just those moments like that, that's just like, please don't make me do all this for nothing. So I feel maybe that makes the grind a little less tedious, just a lot more terrifying. Different T word there.
I hate terrifying.
Oh my dude, it's so fucking stressful. 5 minutes into stream today, I got jumped by a wolf, jumped up 2 feet out of my chair. I didn't hear the stupid thing coming, and I didn't check my radar because there's a danger indicator kind of thing, so it doesn't leave you totally out in the cold. But it doesn't do you no good when you don't pay attention to it, because it's subtle. It's nice and subtle.
Sounds like Darwinism to me.
I mean, I survived. I mean, the wolf didn't. I feel it went well.
For now.
For now. So, of the content that we actually have today. Yes. Cool.
So what's next?
So, Ghost Recon news.
Ooh.
More open worldy things, or at least I hope it's open world. Not really confirmed if the new Ghost Recon is going to be open world yet or not. But
probably should be.
Yeah, I don't see them backtracking away from it. No. But this is an article from GameSpot talking just about the reveal event. I think it's 7:30 Eastern time is when this is going on. Yes, I love video games. No, pop up. But so yeah, there's no really. I mean, that was pretty much it. It was like the big thing was a leak happened. I think literally a day after this article went up. I guess that was this. Okay, so this particular article was today. So there was another article that was talking about the reveal event, and I thought it was that one. But it was talking about how a potential Ubisoft Store item got leaked, and it was talking about Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So Breakpoint may be the...
Maybe the name of it.
Yeah, maybe the name of it. and that a character from the new release DLC, which is kind of being shown in this little video going on right here, um, which is Operation Oracle. Which fun fact, the guy as it's saying in there is played by John Bernthal, aka the Punisher, which is kind of which I thought was kind of neat. He's not the Punisher in the game, but he John Bernthal, he's the Punisher now, forever will be. So yeah, so your thoughts on the new Ghost Recon? For starters, we kind of talked about it. We'll just get an official yes no on it. Do you think it will be open world free roam like Wildlands was?
Sorry, say again.
Do you think it will be open world free roam like Wildlands?
My yeah, I mean, I feel like it should be. I don't want to, because I don't. Ubisoft does fuck up from time to time, so as any major games developer does, like
yeah,
when like with as many like things that Ubisoft has going at any one time, they can't. Like, I feel like smaller developers can tend to be like can have better. Like, if they have made good quality before, they'll make more quality in general because they can focus on their one project. But Ubisoft, they out. I'm sorry. The hearing myself talk back is kind of distracting me. But Ubisoft, they contract out to other developers and then put the Ubisoft name on it. They do that with a lot of their games, and so they can't control the content as well as if they did everything in house.
right.
So I don't know which of their subcontractors or sub offices is doing it, but it should be. It should be open world, and I think it will be. Most things now, like I think the age of the linear level type of gameplay is done, other than in like games that are meant to be retro. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be like 2D platformers that are made and things like that. But
not only that, but you still have Devil May Cry. Games like that will still go linear.
I don't know anything about that.
The games like that are linear, but I see like if a game, if it goes, I agree with you in the sense that if it goes open world, it will not go back to linear. Like, not even a little bit.
Well, and if the way you play it is the same as Wildlands, which is a great method for playing, like in a game that's meant to have options, putting people on rails is not what you want to do. Limiting freedom after given is never something like never works. People are never happy.
No, and unfortunately, this is the part where Wildlands did fall short a little bit. They promoted choice in terms of, like, again, I keep going back to this trailer, but there was a trailer for the gameplay to where it was let a guy live, capture the guy, flat out kill him, and this would have led to different outcomes and progression of your mission. And I think literally every major guy, it's like, no, we need this guy alive. We need intel. I'm like, I mean, it's still a great game. Don't get me wrong. Still love it to death, but it's still just kind of burns me a little bit. Like, come on. But it's whatevs. So, but yeah, so there was the big leak talking about that, and other than that, no, not a whole lot. Other than apparently, again, there's an extended edition or a special edition called the Wolves Edition, which I guess features a figurine of John Bernthal's character, which, I guess looks cool. The Wolves Edition sounds promising. It's like I like the direction that's going. Other than that, not a whole lot.
Have they said anything about the like location, the locale?
No, like the entirety of the reveal, including title, which again, Breakpoint may in fact not be the title, but you know,
So I
good a
would
name as any.
love. So one of these like open world shooters, I would love to see one set in like a Nordic, not Nordic, but like a cold environment, like a
Oh yeah,
Norway, Sweden kind of place, or Canada for that matter, um, because like we always get there's always the jungle games and there's always like the Central American kind of stuff going on,
right.
but like winter warfare is a very interesting thing
Yep.
that is real. The armies train in it, and there's like specific aspects to it you have to worry about.
Right.
And I don't feel like it's really been explored much in gaming. Um, so can you imagine the antics if like the four of us are like we parachute down onto a mountain and we have to try and ski down to it to get to our objective, trying to be stealthy
Dude,
all the
we'd
way there.
freaking be like, dude, it'd be like we'd have to go through at least 2 or 3 runs of all of us just crashing on the side of this mountain before we finally be like, hey, Cole, we made it to the base. Shit, we're spotted. And then we get pasted, and then we spawn back up to the top of the mountain. Fuck. And you just do it again. Like
Yeah,
that's how I see that going.
yeah. So you got stuff like that. Like you could lure people onto a frozen lake and then detonate the ice with C4 to take out an entire squad of enemy troops.
Yo.
Like there's so many other aspects that you could play with it that I would really enjoy that.
Yep. And another, in going over with it, something that I really I would like to see. And this is like scenic wise, probably a little more boring, but definitely a big challenge with it. Is having this open world with a nice, healthy amount of urban combat thrown in.
Mm.
Because, going into the buildings right now in Wildlands, yeah, you have them there, but it's kind of you spend a lot of your time outside, and
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of like CQB like room clearing kind of stuff.
yep.
Um,
So I would love to see, and in the in the other Ghost Recon games, you had a lot of urban stuff. Of course, you can get linear mission sets, so a lot easier to incorporate stuff in that. They could put it in a lot more detail, which they did really well. So I would like to see kind of going from the open scenes and stuff and going into the close quarters of urban combat, or even sniping from a roof while your teammates penetrating or infiltrating through.
Oh yeah,
all
like
these different
the
things.
sniping across the window, across the road kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would be down with that. I would enjoy that a lot. Almost more of like a SWAT kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. I would love to see that. But as for what for sure, and just to give
They'd have to like take some mechanics from like Rainbow Six. Can you imagine like a Wildlands like game story slash setting with like Rainbow Six mechanics?
give me repelling for crying out loud.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That was, oh my god, from the second problem I have with Wildlands is that's not a thing. Like, make it harder if you want. Say your character needs to have rope on him. You have this much length. You can only make this much of a drop. Fine, whatever. Gimme. I want it. Like when the Far Cry game started introducing a grappling hook. Oh my god.
Well, and what is the Just Cause? Like the grappling hook in that just like
Okay, that's
exponentially made that game series so much better.
okay.
I
Number
don't think
one,
we need that cartoon.
number one, right?
But...
Number one is that's the backbone of that. I'm not asking.
Series, it didn't always have that. Just Cause didn't always have that.
Did it not? Wait, the first one didn't?
No, it didn't. I think they added that Just Cause in the second one.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was not always a thing.
What the
Um,
frig, dude? These boys did a that. Wow, that's amazing. I never knew that.
Yep. Just Cause when it first came out, I mean, it was still like an action game, but
Yeah.
it was like fairly realistic. I mean, again, it's like an action movie. You're meant to blow stuff up, is what
Right.
Just Cause is. Just Cause has always been that, but 2 and especially 3 and 4, yeah, 4, like they just kind of threw realism out the window.
Oh my god. Oh, dude. And then freaking 5, which I haven't even.
Is 5 out?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, been out for a while. Yeah. You go. Weather control and all that shit. Right? Isn't that 5?
I thought 4 was the most recent one.
Hang on. Fact check. Okay, yeah, no, 4. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was about to say.
I'm sorry.
Because the last one I had was Just Cause 3.
Right, yeah, that's the last of this. That's the one I still have, yeah. You get the new grappling hook in that one.
Mm-hmm.
And the wingsuit, which, ugh.
Oh, I think you can even get like a jetpack in it. In the DLC.
Of course. All right, so actually, you know, fun side note question. How many tries did it take you to really get the hang of that wingsuit?
I don't think I ever did. I think it.
Honest answer. I like it. Dude, it took me a couple hours. I mean, that's all I was trying to do. I would get mad and do story missions, and then it was like, right? Seems like a douche. Hang on. Okay, yeah, he does. Sorry, needed to check.
I love that you had to like verify that I wasn't insulting you.
I'm on the right in the call. Like that's what I look at is our call, so I had to check it. So yeah, that's interesting.
No,
I did not know.
That'll be. I'm excited. Fun fact though, we don't, because so many of our friends are now on evening shift. We don't have a group of 4 to do it with, like we used to.
We're gonna have to start drafting some of these har herds in it and on it now, because this is where we're at.
Because that's gonna be some. Not only is it gonna be like super fun, but that's gonna be some great content.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be great content.
When do you think the release will be? Like this fall?
They did say it. Yeah, fall. They like October 2019. That was a date that I seen somewhere. That was
under current plans. I'm gonna be heavy into my thesis at the time, so that may be rough for me.
Yeah, I can see. I can see that would be.
All right, cool. So what's next? What do you get?
What next is something that we touched on a little bit, like theorizing about, but something that we now finally have a say from the actual people that are doing it, which is Borderlands 3, specifically how it aims to make itself stand out in looter shooters. Article is once again by IGN. So yeah. Article by IGN. And
well, we've got this article has a video, so why don't we watch that? Yeah. Gameplay preview.
a 14-minute one.
This is 4 minutes on mine.
Oh. Probably looking. I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, give me a second. It's playing an ad. Un moment. Ad block, what?
Well, I'm gonna grab a beer. Well, you do that. Beer back.
Okay, guys. Let's see. I can. Oh my gosh, the sidebar thing gets in the way. Okay. Ah. No. Oh my god. Alright, hell with it. Full screen it is.
All right, let's watch this.
Get the background noise out of the way.
It'll actually be easier for me if you just screen share it and then just make yourself the full screen.
Now you tell me.
Well, because otherwise I have to watch it through the stream.
You share it. I have you already set up for full screen. Because I'm about 90% sure it's just going to slideshow.
Okay. All right, you got it?
Yep.
Over the course of my
Got it, audio?
vertical slice demo of Borderlands 3,
I have audio, but why are you...
psychos, all for the noble cause of restoring...
Why what?
Oh. Sharing... What the hell? Why is this here? Okay, let's try it again.
Over the course of my playtime with a vertical slice demo of Borderlands 3, I butchered hordes of not-so-innocent psychos, all for the noble cause of restoring an awesome coffee shop, and you're welcome. Have a lovely day. Chopped off a man's arm who needed a little bit of blood taken for a sample. Easy now. Yep. Okay, that'll do. And found a gun that shot corrosive, explosive cheeseburgers with flavor text that references a certain viral video involving a man, a cheeseburger, and the word damn. Needless to say, Borderlands 3 has not lost its unique sense of style or humor over the last 5 years since the pre-sequel. The landscape of the looter-shooter has changed substantially in those last 5 years, but rather than chase after games like Destiny and The Division, Borderlands 3 seems pretty content to stick to its guns, all billions of them, refining its particular brand of cooperative-focused, gear-driven, first-person shooting. And as a first impression, Gearbox is certainly on the right track. Borderlands 3 feels like a much tighter, better put-together version of Borderlands 2. Navigating around the environment feels smoother thanks to the ability to slide and mantle onto and over objects, but the most impressive aspect of Borderlands 3 is how good the guns feel. Borderlands has always been really good at providing a huge variety of guns with interesting mechanics, but it was a very rare occasion that you'd pick up a weapon in any of the Borderlands games and be 100% satisfied with how it felt.
Real talk.
Borderlands 3, every weapon that I spent time with felt fantastic. From the Wild West style rapid
What
fire
real
range
talk?
of Jacob's revolver to the punchy power
Picking
of
up a
the
weapon and
Toarn,
being 100%
and
good. But
especially to the sheer explosive power of a Toarn weapon. Gearbox has done a great job of identifying and correcting the flaws in the handlings of certain weapon types. Hyperion guns no longer have that annoying mechanic of being wildly inaccurate until you hold down the trigger for about 2 to 3 seconds. Toarn guns are less about AoE pray and spray, and more about accurately tagging a baddie with sticky rounds which can be exploded when you reload. And TDR weapons have a huge variety of wild effects when you throw them, rather than just exploding on impact. Beyond the movement and the gunplay, Borderlands 3 is exactly what you would expect, though there are several quality of life improvements that allow you to spend less time in menus and more time actually playing the game. There's a new gear score value that can instantly give you an idea of whether a piece of gear is better or worse than what you currently have equipped. You can now instantly refill your ammo at any vending machine with just a simple press of a button, and just overall, the UI feels especially crisp and clean. Only Amara and Zane were available in the vertical slice demo that I played, and while I wasn't able to really dive into the deep intricacies of each character's skill trees, I was at least able to tailor both characters to my own personal playstyle of rushing in like a berserker. Amara seemed most built for that style of play with her face slam action ability that lets her perform an AoE slam to get her up close, along with several skills that can increase her damage and health. Zane is much more malleable of a character, with skill trees that allow him to focus on a variety of different specialties, along with just doing a little bit of everything. He's the only character that we know of at this point who can use 2 action skills at the cost of his grenade slot. That means he can use both his powerful sentry turret along with his diversion creating clone to essentially create his own personal multiplayer party to soak up and deal out damage. My favorite skill of Zane's was the increase in damage he got when moving at high speeds, which encouraged me to play Borderlands 3 a little bit like how I would play Doom. Everything else in Borderlands 3 is exactly what you would expect. It's funny and silly in a cartoonish sort of way, which is a breath of fresh air in a genre that typically takes itself perhaps a little too seriously.
This was so necessary. Hey, Atlas boys! Rise and Grind's back in business, and the coffee's on me!
The 5 years of development definitely shows, and Borderlands 3 is looking like Gearbox's most promising title to date. For more Borderlands 3, make sure to check out our gameplay videos, and for everything else, stay here on IGN.
So not bad.
not bad at all.
I am not angry at that. And I actually was not a fan of the original Borderlands.
You know, it was fun. But definitely just like I picked I picked it up out of boredom.
It always felt a little too Mad Maxy to me.
Uh-huh.
And this looks a little bit more. The world seems a little bit more fleshed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and so the article goes on to mention a few things. Specifically what makes stand apart. And list the things in order. Again, this is just from the article. Enemy variety, specifically more enemy variety. So you're not going to get a lot of cut paste enemies. You'll actually get very unique enemies, which is important because also from this game is you're going to different planets. You're not just on the one planet. I guess you'll go to different places now. And so the wildlife and the enemies on each of the planets are going to feel unique to that planet. Which is really, I'm down for some interplanetary travel. They bragged on the mobility, so the sliding and the vaulting over things. So your character is more mobile, but they also in turn made the enemies more mobile. And the example that they use in the article is a psycho, the little guys that keep chasing you. Essentially, there's nowhere you can go that they can't find you and reach you now. So it's like,
that's fun. That's enjoyable. That's what I want in a game. To be uncheesable. That's
The psycho the runner psychos are really the only ones that they are like super mobile. Like the others will
kn-
cover shoot.
I noticed like the Big Daddy dudes. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
Ooh,
and that those will be.
that brings back bad memories.
Oh man, and so they have more vehicles, and they're more fun. So you saw that single wheel cycle,
Yeah,
which he names it.
the episode Star Wars Episode 3 unicycle.
Yeah.
That one.
So they call it the article he calls it a cyclone bike,
Mm.
and that particular planet that he was on is called Promethea. More of an urban city kind of setting, I guess.
Are there multiple planets?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's Pandora, Promethea. Those are the only I think that article. Number 4 on this article is one that I really appreciated. Because this was definitely one of my bigger complaints with Borderlands as a whole. Is that it is promising to be more fun for solo players.
Mm.
It is very much geared towards cooperative gameplay, but still is aiming to make things feel a lot more fun, more viable for solo players than it's ever done, according to the article, which is great. You have more like network availability now, so I feel like it's not going to be as much of a problem. Like for me personally, back when Borderlands was a big thing, like being able to connect and actually play online with people was always a bit of an issue.
Look at number 5.
I know.
We were just talking about this like a couple of weeks ago.
Like why does this have to be noteworthy? But every time it is, it's like, and
Yeah.
guys, number 5 is the game's got split screen.
Oh man.
The game
Like if we probably
has
won't even
split
play
screen.
on console. We'll probably play on PC. Which
Yeah, but
if PC
still,
if PC won't have split screen, but I'm okay with that. But oh yeah, that's good on you, boys. Good on you.
Yep.
World is more detailed. I did notice that the graphics were very pretty in that video. I know Borderlands has its own like art style, but I always thought it was kind of. It never really looked all that good to me.
it seemed a little bland.
Yeah, this one looks pretty good. This one looks. They really nailed the comic book look in this one.
And then, of course, number 7, it revels in its ridiculousness. Yeah, it's Borderlands. They always did that. They're still doing that.
Yep. What's that one game that kind of does the same thing?
Saints Row.
Saints Row. Yeah. So
That here.
Saints Row started out as like a relatively serious like GTA competitor.
Yep.
And then they started adding in some silly stuff, and like everyone loved it. And they did the right thing, and they just doubled down, and that's perfectly fine. That is 100% acceptable.
So here's the problem. Here's the problem. Okay. The first Saints Row I really wasn't much of a fan of. That's more or less due to mechanical issues and shit like that. Story was pretty cool. Having your gang take over territory and stuff, that was neat. So in comes Saints Row 2. And in Saints Row 2, the sequel, they did a lot of obligatory changes. Number 1, your character could talk. Because he didn't or she didn't 99% of the first game. Apparently there are a few lines of dialogue there, but I never played far enough in to really see it. Then that's when they started doing the jokes and stuff and a lot of sillier stuff. But again, not too much. It was still pretty grounded. Then 3 happened.
Yep. Well, and that's what I mean. Is like Saints Row 2 is when they kind of like tested the waters.
Yeah.
And then 3 and 4, they just like jumped in the deep end.
4, I could deal with 3. as far as their
Dude,
antics go.
I
But then
loved
4 is like you're freaking Neo in the Matrix, basically. because-
I loved superpowers. Like
oh my gosh, it
they
was
were so it was that was so much better of a way to play the game than like using guns and stuff.
it was
Like it
such
I'm sorry, but it was worth it. That was amazing. That was so much fun.
like
Oh my word.
I just oh my god it. Which it was fun. I just couldn't. It's another one I didn't beat because I mean I beat Saints Row 3 and then Saints Row 4 came in.
Well, because like so if I remember correctly, in Saints Row 4, you start out the game like playing it normally. You just run around on the ground, you shoot guns. You get some crazy guns, but you just shoot guns. And then but along the way you do these like hologram like VR kind of missions where you get to be a superhero and you learn like all these powers.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get a mech suit which lets you use all these like superhero powers you were playing with in like the side missions in the real world.
Well,
And it just makes
the
things go
what's
crazy.
funny, you actually got that backwards. The VR world, was the main. Like that was where you got all your progressions and stuff, and then the kind of sidest missions were when you found members of your team that you had to free them back into reality, and yeah,
Oh
and
yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yep. Yep. It
that was
was
just it was. Which it was funny. It's funny when your character breaks out, and I think Kenzie talking to you. You're like, how do I get out of here? He's like, you basically do what you do. Go unleash hell. Cool, I can do that. Oh my gosh.
all right.
So-
So what was next on the list? What
So
else we
yeah,
got?
I have these in no particular order. So, trying to get all the new game stuff out of the way because I got actual new stuff in here too. So in the news section, actually, we'll talk about this because this will be kind of a nice little segue into the actual news portion. This article grabbed my attention mostly due to the fact that it's just like it's still being brought up, which kind of amazes me. And unfortunately, the person who's bringing it up is not, in my opinion, the best to do it because you could say they are a little biased. And the article is found on GameSpot, and it essentially is like title of the article, as you can see right there. Was a Battlefront 2 was a great game, clouded controversy.
Mm.
So says the CEO of EA.
Oh, I wonder why he would say that.
So, hence is why it really caught my attention. But I decided to give it a little bit of a chance. Kind of read through the article a little bit. Essentially, going on down through here, where's it at? Clouded by the content, yeah, surrounded by the
Wasn't Battlefront the one that like all the weapons and things were behind the loot box system?
So, yeah. But the loot box system was all inclusive to real world money.
Yeah.
And so they're like, their big thing was, you don't have, to pay for the loot boxes. You can earn them in game. But then people were buying like 50 at a time and getting all the good shit. So
It was a pay to win.
borderline pay to win.
No, it was pay to win.
Now, I'm aware it was pay to win.
It's like every single mobile game in the world will let you eventually earn the top tier stuff.
Right. Or
by
you could just, pay money and get it now.
Yes, and again, and that's not the trash on mobile games. Like I am perfectly, when we've talked about this before, I'm perfectly okay with that system if it's a free game.
Yeah, not
I
one
don't
that you have to
find
pay
it.
$60 for.
No, if you bought a game, that is not acceptable. Oh my word. Yeah.
And so now, here's the thing. What there was a line here. So this was a quote from Wilson, who is again the CEO. The Battlefront 2, on balance, and it's kind of hard to see through the mist of this, but on balance, Battlefront 2 is a great game. We made some missteps in the context of progression and monetization, which actually clouded what was otherwise a really great game. With the ongoing commitment that the studio has had with the player community, it is now a really strong game with a really strong player sentiment, and we expect that will continue to do well. We should have done that at launch, but we are a learning organization. We support that community. So, at least it's said, which, I mean, what else could he say at this point? But at least it's said that it should have been done at launch. So, I can't vouch for the state of Battlefront 2 these days, and whether or not the community's there.
Yeah, there may be some niche community. It's definitely not at the forefront. Like, let's have a look at Twitch real quick and see where.
Yes, that's the thing. Like,
because that's I feel like that's a really good um indicator of like just how large a community is how many people are watching it. And
so why are you looking this up? This is, I guess, this pledge is a little bit kind of, I guess, an obligatory thing. Because our entire marketing organization is now moving out of presentation mode and into conversation mode, changing how we communicate with players over time. So that the day we bring truly a global audience into play, we have strong confidence that 1, the game is ready, 2, that the infrastructure can handle the game at scale, and 3, that our players understand exactly what they're going to be playing, how they're going to be playing, both on day of launch and over time. Great in theory, great dream, but like how well are they going to communicate is the thing, because this to me seems like somebody's reusing the same record just on different players.
yeah.
Like, I hate to be that way, but
there's a little over 40 people streaming it right now.
Yeah.
Which is actually that's a large number of people streaming. But there's only 300 total viewers for Battle. So, and most, like, about half the people streaming this have either 1 viewer or less.
On her list view.
Which is so.
And that's like my stream earlier.
Yeah. So what I think it comes down to is there's a number of people that are still playing the game that like they just press the share button on the PlayStation. I would not consider this. Yeah, I don't think there's probably is a community there. I don't think it's very big.
Yeah, and I would say it's probably not, like, it might not be the truest representation as far as the viewer base on Twitch goes, but
I think viewer base on Twitch is a very good indicator.
no, I don't. I mean, I'm definitely not saying it's something to just. But it also is possible that it's not telling the whole story. Don't get me wrong. If it's bigger, I don't think it's much bigger. But which,
I'm sure it has a somewhat sizable community. I just don't think it's the community that a AAA game should have.
Right. Yeah. No. Exactly. I mean, it was 1 million units short on its expected sales. Order came. It's been behind since day one.
I don't know. I think graphically, because I played the demo. I think you did too. I think.
Yeah.
The demo was pretty good. To an extent. It was very pretty.
Yeah.
Absolutely pretty. I think, to be honest, a lot of my issues with Battlefront were the same issues I've had with like Battlefield recently. Is that Battlefront 2 was made by DICE. They essentially wanted to make a Star Wars Battlefield. Um, that was the idea, and to an extent, they did, and they did made like a modern Battlefield. But like all the modern Battlefields that have been struggling, they haven't put enough variety into it.
No.
Like Battlefield 4 and 5 were, or am I thinking 3 and 4? Yeah, 3 and 4. Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, like there was like hundreds of guns and a crap ton of different gadgets and so many different ways to play the game. And that was a big part of, there was a lot of progression to be had. A lot, you like were constantly earning things. And both the Battlefields and Battlefront, there's like 5 guns in the entire game. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, and not only that, part that always confused me, and this is like, what's like,
And
I've heard the argument, when there was stuff like that, and WoW is kind of another example of this. For this one example of, it's like, we want to make the game more accessible to people. And I'm like, is it not? Like in the beginning, like you have, every game has the obligatory, like, here's your basic stuff, work up from here. People have the same leg to stand on at the start, and at that point, it's a case of get good or just play a bunch, like.
Exactly. And back then you couldn't buy to be good. You had to put the hours in. You had to like play the game to get the stuff. And that was how it worked.
Yep.
And then there were other people, like when Battlefield 4 came out, and now Battlefield 5, or sorry, Battlefield 1 and now Battlefield 5. So Battlefield 1 for those is World War 1, and Battlefield 5 is the most recent one, which is World War 2. So their justification for not having that many weapons and stuff is that like there just weren't that many like different types of guns and things back then,
Which is
and
a lie.
Well, it's
Like,
kind of true for
Not that
Battlefield.
limited. Like,
For World War 1, it was like kind of rough. I mean, there's only so many ways you can change a bolt action rifle. But Battlefield 2 especially is a lie. Sorry, not Battlefield 2, but World War 2 is especially a lie. But then they come to Star Wars, all right? This is a completely fictional universe, okay? The justification of there just aren't that many guns is not acceptable.
No.
Make new ones.
No,
Create lore. That's how this works. Like, it's, oh my gosh.
it's
like,
it's ridiculous.
Like, take the weapons and things from the series and put them in there, like the E11 standard issue Imperial blaster rifle, like all that stuff. Put it in there, but also add all the other stuff. Like, you be creative.
Yeah. I mean, hell, there wasn't just the laser. There were bolters and like all these other different rifles you could put in, and like,
yeah,
it's.
Give us like some variations on the Wookiee bowcaster. Like,
Oh my god. Or Wookiees, for that matter. Because, hell, the original Battlefront 2 did that.
yep.
Both Battlefronts actually did that, but the Wookiees were better in 2.
And heck, and you could have some like meme loadouts, like Gungan like slingshots with their little like bulba ball things.
Dude, yeah,
Like,
tell me a game developer with that in the game would not make that an achievement.
Yeah, exactly. Like, remember in like Call of Duty, the old like double knife like setup where you're running around with only tomahawks and knives, and that was all you did.
Unfortunately.
And how much fun that was when you could pull it off. Imagine that in like Star Wars, just running around with like little Gungan balls, just straight up Jar Jar Binks and dudes, and like trashing on them for it. Like, that would be awesome.
But will they do it? No, because they want to make the game more accessible. Like, we want to focus on the gameplay, guys. Only we never actually focused on the gameplay. We just said that because we're fucking lazy.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Rant over. Now, this article was a convenient segue into a piece of news that I discovered about a bill that is upcoming in the U.S. Senate.
Ooh, I saw this.
Yeah. This is an article by Game Informer. I'm detecting a lot of frame drops here, guys, so I'm not going to switch over on this article. But it's by Game Informer. Imran Khan was author. Credits here. Game Informer. Upcoming U.S. Senate bill proposes a ban on loot boxes. That's the full title. If you guys want to look it up. And
Have they specified what exactly they classify as a loot box?
I don't. And not only is it the big confusion here, this is where this gets a little sketchy for me, because I appreciate people taking steps towards this, of at least trying to regulate it to an extent. But this guy is saying banning loot boxes at games towards children.
Yeah,
And
it's justification.
It is not at all clear. It says in the article here, it is not at all clear what Holly, who's the guy bringing this to the table, means by banning loot boxes in games for children. So now, is he going to go by the ESRB ratings? And again, the article brings this up, but it's like, that's a good question. Like this, again, which, from what it sounds like with this guy, this is just like another step up to the plate. Just a different section in the tech field, apparently.
Yeah. So there actually is some. So for those that don't know, like, loot boxes are currently illegal in China. Because Overwatch, I remember a year or two ago, Overwatch had to deal with that. But the justification for it there in China is that they consider it gambling. Because because you pay for the loot boxes and you don't necessarily get, like, you can get different valued items out of it. You can either get a legendary, you can get all grays, and so they consider it gambling, which is why they're illegal there. And so most of the places where loot boxes are illegal, because there are places that's how they justify it. If they're trying to just justify it as like children being manipulated, that might have a harder time of being sold.
Which is, this whole tone of the article seems to be going towards that, and it's not. I don't see him making much headway.
Yeah, because I mean, I understand being like, oh, this is illegal gambling, it's not being taxed properly. I understand that, and I'd say there's an argument there for that. But like, that's just bad parenting. You know what I mean? Like,
Somebody has to say it.
Like,
yeah. Like, our kids are being manipulated into buying loot boxes. Like, no, I think mommy and daddy just need to keep track of their wallet better. Because
yeah, exactly. Or if it's becoming that big of an issue that your kid is stealing your wallet, take the fucking game away. Like, I mean, I love video games. I play them all the time. It's like, I'm trying to make it my life. But I mean, when something gets to that level of a problem, as a parent, you should be doing something about that. So that's just an abdication of the responsibility of the parents. And in my personal opinion, if that's your justification for doing it, that's overreach.
Well, way overreach. Like, it's not taxed properly, or even like.
I think there are good arguments for this.
Yeah.
And heck, and even I think there's even like a fair trade argument that, like, making people buy a game, and then having to pay even more to get a chance of getting the rest of something that they've paid for.
Right, because it's all in the game. Like, absolutely.
Right. Like, I think there's even, like, maybe even a fair trade argument against loot boxes. Especially in, like, the Battlefront sense, where you're paying for, like, functionality and not just cosmetics.
Dude, and another example of that, dating back to freaking Mass Effect 3. You know, which you didn't play a whole lot of. See, the loot box system in Overwatch has never really bugged me much, just because it's all cosmetic. But
exactly. Overwatch has never bothered me. You don't have to buy loot
Yeah.
boxes to get a hero. You don't have to buy loot boxes to get abilities. It's just to change. It's not ever actually affecting the game.
But Mass Effect 3 was cooperative PvE. There was no PvP involved, so there was at least no unfair player advantages there. But loot boxes dictated if you got weapons. They dictated if you got new characters to play as. They dictate. I mean, all of it. Like
Yeah,
buffs used in matches and like all this other stuff. That to me, like at the time, again, never really dreamt about buying it, and I got stuff at a fairly good rate. So I didn't much think of it, but looking back on it, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like totally cool with having a marketplace set up to where you earn in-game credits and then you can buy this stuff, but you know what you're buying.
Yep.
Like totally not against progression unlocks, but when it's all on a dice roll, no. When it's all at the mercy of RNG, no.
Yep. Especially if you're paying money for that.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, you already paid money for the game, and then, you know, when you're like me, you're already doing Xbox Live Gold at the time, so it's like, I got more money, you know, to even play the multiplayer. So,
and to an extent, that actually does to an extent kind of bother me about like even Overwatch loot boxes. Is that like again? I can't remember the last time I actually bought loot boxes for Overwatch. I have done it before, but it was probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago. The last time I did.
Like I've done it just for like fun. Like during one of the events, is like, hey, let's throw just a couple bucks down, just see what we can get. If not, whatever. But you know,
yeah,
it's just
But,
kind of
like,
funny to do.
Say for whatever reason I was like a super serious Mercy main, and like I really wanted like the new event skin before things closed, and I bought like 10 loot boxes. I paid like $15 and don't get the skin. You know what I mean? Like I feel
Yeah.
like
No,
like I almost wish that there was like a store, like in addition to, like I wish you could buy coins in Overwatch. You know what I mean?
yeah, just straight up coins just to get the stuff. Like,
Right, because you can spend coins to get the stuff. You can do that. It does allow you to do that, but you have to buy loot boxes to get coins, and the coins that you get are at a reduced rate. Like you should just be able to buy the coins, and then buy the specific stuff that you want. In my
yeah,
personal
which you know, and
again,
Oh,
not nearly
'cause-
as huge of a deal as like pay to win, but
no, but still, it's like one of these things. And then of course, Blizzard will never go for that because no, that God bless. Oh, that means they'll spend significantly less time working to get stuff in our game, guys, and we'll be less tempted to spend $50 on loot boxes. We can't have that. Again, it's not critical to the gameplay.
you know, I think a big part of this comes down to like the cost, and we may have talked about this before. The cost of video games has not changed in a long time.
No,
Like,
and
it
in
has-
some cases, it has went up.
has went up.
Like in some games, like not a lot. Not everybody. Like it's generally you got that 60. Some
Yes.
games have shot up in
The,
some.
the cost of I can't think of any game that its base price is more than $60.
I can't even think of the name, but I could swear there was at least one.
Like I mean, every game nowadays has like a special edition or something like that they add another $10 or $20 to it. But for the most part, the $60 mark has stayed steady for like the last 10 years, really, for a decade. And so I understand that with the costs, the number of people you have to hire, and rising employment costs and things like that, that your margins are decreasing on video games if your only source of income is the purchase of the game. I understand that struggle, but it just feels so slimy, all these extra stuff. Like I would almost prefer if the standard moved up to like $70 or $80 a game, if I didn't have to deal with all this other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if I got all the content
Like,
at the one-time
just-
purchase.
just be straightforward that it's going to cost more to develop the game and give me the full game, and I will pay you what you need to make the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't try and treat us like idiots or all this other bullshit, because then it ruins it. And then so we'll pay. it's like whenever you commission art, you pay the artist so you get a quality product. You know, like when we commission emotes and things like that. Like
Yeah.
if you're trying to get emotes out of someone and refusing to pay, you're only like, I'm only going to pay like two or $3 per emote, but expect them to spend 2 hours per emote.
Yeah.
You're like that's not realistic. And
But yeah,
so
$2 or $3, they give you something before your quote meeting's done. Like that's what you get for $2 or $3 for fucking emote.
So I understand getting paid. You need to get paid for what you're doing. So give me a good quality product, and I'll be willing to pay you up front. Good quality pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think I'm alone in that.
No. Well,
but-
and just like, oh my god. And you had to open this can of worms, paid DLC. Like, this wasn't even where we started. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. We acknowledge that the door is there. We're not gonna go through the door. We're gonna talk about the next thing, which is a staged walkout was done by the employees of Riot Games. So the guys who make League of Legends. And I think it's like the first one ever at a video game developer, according to what one of the articles was saying.
Let me pull up the article. So why are they walking out? What is it?
Forced arbitration.
Oh yeah, so they're not
So-
allowed to.
They're not allowed to sue.
Yeah, that's
Not
messed
allowed.
up.
Not allowed to sue, appeal, or any of that shit. And so when they're going for legal action for mistreatment in the workplace, and it's like, oh nope, can't do that.
Well, I've had contracts before where like they required that if I had some sort of like a normal dispute with my employer, that we try and work it out in house and stuff before like we got legal with it. And I'm okay with that. Like I
Yeah.
understand that. But sexual harassment, saying that someone is not allowed to like get legal with sexual, I'm pretty sure that's not even illegal to say.
Well,
Like that's
we're about to. People are about to find out because this thing is a thing, and this is why people are protesting it. And if it gets brought to the attention of somebody who really knows their stuff, we might see different articles later on down the line also talking about Riot Games.
So, for example, in Kentucky, which is where Kaver and I live, all not UK, all Kentucky citizens are what's called mandatory reporters, which means that if we are aware of rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, you're not allowed to say nothing. You have to report it. All right. Otherwise, you break the law. Okay. And so if someone comes to you and tells you, hey, I have been sexually assaulted, I've been sexually harassed, you have to report it. You do not have the right to say no. If you don't do it and the law finds out that you knew,
Yeah.
you're going to jail.
So, like, the correct response, one of the correct responses, if someone tells you that, is, cool, are you dialing or am I? Because, just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I would imagine California being more on top of these things than even we are. Like that would be the same thing, which I'm assuming they're in California. I don't even know if Los Angeles. Yeah, so they're in California. Everyone is nowadays. So like I'm pretty sure this is like for them to say, hey, if you report sexual harassment, you're not allowed to take it to the law. Like if they report sexual harassment, you have to take it to the law as a game company. Okay, you can't like not say anything. It has to be said. And if that is not California law, it needs to be. Like you guys need to step it up. Like what in the world? So yeah, no, they definitely should be walking out over this. I support them entirely.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, like one of the quotes in the article is that this is about people feeling safe, like they will not be harassed. And, you know, that's, like, a bunch of people have come forward and started talking about it, and, like, this is why. You know, We like the company. We care about the company. We want things to get better in the company. We're not looking to burn the place down or anything. We're just looking just to make things better to work in.
Like,
And
um,
props
I mean,
to there were some exec representatives of the company. This was a pretty class act. I don't think it's in this particular article that I'm looking at right now, but there was one that said execs from the company actually, supported their right to do a walkout, and that by no means, well, they would tolerate absolutely no retaliation of those against those either A, doing the walkout, or B, not. Like, there would be absolutely zero retaliation. So, again, maybe just the smart play by them, but to me, also a little bit, that's a classy thing to do. Like, people in charge would be like, hey, well, we acknowledge that, and that this is forcing people to start talking about making conditions better, and that they apparently are going to ratify the forced arbitration for new employees. However, old employees are unfortunately going to be grandfathered into this for a little while longer, at least in the foreseeable future anyway. Which to me is also confusing, because I'm like, why can't you just be like, hey, no, of course, at a glance, I also could see why they wouldn't do it to current employees. It's like, somebody's reasoning of having a new employee come in under no forced arbitration versus keeping the current ones is like, oh shit, now we're gonna get sued. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of being humiliated out in public now, which is again probably ultimately why they did the nice guy line and been like, we will suffer no retaliation against people who did or did not participate in the walkout. Again, like, I hate being skeptical like that, because I like it when people take the understanding approach to things, but it always sucks when you have to wonder if it's just saving face or if this person is actually being legit. Because you found out more often than not, it is in fact not genuine. At least at a corporate level, anyway. That might be an unfair stereotype, but that's my opinion.
I'm just so confused how they can think this is like an acceptable policy.
Right.
So, so maybe like what the policy is like not so much that someone's not allowed to report sexual harassment or whatever, but it's trying to protect the company. Like, hey, if you are a victim of sexual harassment in our workplace, you can't sue the company for what someone else did to you. Which to an extent, I understand. But that being said, if someone were to sue your company over the fact that they were sexually harassed at your company,
and you did nothing,
you're right. That's what I was about to get at, is that there are laws on record, federal work laws, that you have to promote a safe work environment. So if you were negligent in permitting this kind of culture to permeate, like, I mean, so if there's an asshole, like a true piece of shit, they're going to do stuff no matter what kind of environment you create. And I don't think a company can be held by that. But as long as you're doing the things you need to do to protect your employees,
yeah,
then those isolated incidents will be treated just like that. And then if
yeah,
people do try,
they will be isolated. And rather than
and if
my
someone does
asshole
try and sue
company,
you,
my asshole company didn't freaking help me, it's instead of, no, this asshole got fired by my company, because that's the story that gets told.
yeah, the only reason you would be scared of that lawsuit is if you realize that you aren't doing the things you need to do to create a healthy work environment. So, yeah, there's no need for that policy. So,
It blows my mind that,
well,
like, upon
it's just bad for business. If these kinds of things are happening in your workspace, people are not happy there. They're scared. They're dealing with all this stuff, and they can't do their work well. I mean, especially in an industry as creative and as fun-loving as you have to be, as like the games industry.
Yeah.
If you've got all that stuff weighing on you, I can't imagine they're putting out pretty good work.
Well, and not only that, but, in speaking of, oh, hey, no forced arbitration for new employees, what new ones?
Yeah, if this stuff starts getting out, who's going to want
hundreds of people walked out of your studio at a set time because crap has gotten so bad. And not only that, but another studio of the same company mirrored their walkout in support of them. Like, which I think it was in Ireland, to which, fun fact, forced arbitration is not a thing. So they're like, yeah, this don't affect us, but this is stupid, so we're going to walk out and protest for our coworkers across the sea because this is dumb and this needs to stop. Like,
Oh man.
that's crazy. And Dragon, stream's going good. Yeah, Toarn likes his shirt too.
Is she in chat? I don't see
Yeah.
her. Why am I not seeing her messages? Oh, because what in the world?
Was it not refreshed or something? Or?
I tried to type test. My hands were in the wrong place on the keyboard.
So yeah, this
yeah,
was.
I love my shirt. It's awesome.
And you know what? Talking about Toarn shirt, this is a fantastic segue. Let's talk some Overwatch League, brother.
Yeah, baby.
And what's convenient is I think this will be like the last actual planned subject because I don't have any more. You have one? Okay, you have a video? What's the video?
My shirt.
Your shirt has a video?
My shirt has a video.
Your shirt has a video.
Yep.
I am so confused.
Just give me a second.
I didn't turn now, so that way. Scramble to think of that at the last second again. And Dragon, now that I have a chance to verbally say it, congratulations on being officially graduated.
All right, let me do a screen share. All right, tell me when to launch it.
Go for it.
You have the finishing power here on the Boston side. It's not looking like it. They're going back to spawn hex, and that is a successful defense for the Washington Justice. This is crazy. Now you're going to lose color hex, auto dies, and then fusion dies.
It's been the same order pretty much every time.
This is going to be Washington Justice tying it up 3-3.
Their strategy definitely seems to be kill fusions first. This one's it. You like map 5s? I like map 5s. Kelix has been up top on this drum the entire time.
I mean, surely he has, but that was a huge one. The EMP comes through. That's RCK gone. Kelix as well. Fusions, he's going to be the next one getting all the attention, and that is it. Unbelievable. The Washington Justice. They go the distance versus the Boston Uprising and win it.
Look at that scoreboard.
3-2.
We're gonna take it back just a second. So here's the scoreboard.
Like, look at that. Look at that scoreboard.
It was as close as it possibly could be. Like every single map was to the wire. Oh my word. It was crazy. Greatest thing I've ever seen. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of my shirt. I'm repping. And my hat. Showing the justice. I need to turn off screen share.
Yeah, you do. So yeah, man. I'm so sad that I missed it. I'm so, again, we were talking about it before stream started. I'm so far behind actual, like, up to date Overwatch League news. I'm gonna have to play a lot of catch up. I'm sorry though, but the game that I'm really sorry I missed
was Atlanta destroying Excel again.
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 Oh,
Oh, my word.
so happy. So
So-
happy.
New York actually has a worse record than the Gladiators now.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Yep. They're only two. They're only one above Dallas. Like New York is 5, Dallas is 6. Actually, Dallas and New York in stage 2 have the same record. New York has a better map differential, but Dallas just has to win one.
And then they're
Yep. So it's gonna be fun.
Dude.
We are actually Justice is actually beating 2 teams in stage 2. We're beating both Florida and Houston.
Dude,
Neither
but-
of
Hey, when did the Houston Outlaws get down there? Like, what happened?
But Houston has not won a match this stage.
I see that. Like what?
Yep.
Jake, where you at, buddy? Like, what? Not saying that that's his. Not saying that that's solely his fault. But I actually don't know. But he's the only DPS character player that I remember.
Well, Dallas wrecked them at the Texas home game.
I know. I did see parts of that.
Yeah,
was-
they destroyed them.
That was heated. Like that was like, oh,
Oh
my,
man.
like you're just. As Soy likes to say, "Ooh, somebody call their moms. They are not okay.
Mm-mm.
they are not doing good." Oh my god. It's so funny because everybody, speaking of that Atlanta, everybody was like, all right, well, it was fun while it lasted. But no. No, says Atlanta.
So, fun fact: Shanghai is in the stage playoffs.
Yeah, right? like that's
Who would have thought that at the beginning?
this
of
is
season
share-worthy.
2?
Like, guys, like look at this. Like our screens are somewhat in the way, but you can see the number 8 spot, which is the one that we really care about right now. Shanghai Dragons, ladies and gentlemen, with the 0 map differential too.
Yep.
Like, good for them. Good for them. Like,
I am very much happy with it because if Shanghai can do it, Justice can do it.
Like,
oh
hope
my god.
you got hope for the league now. Of course, the league this year's been turned on its head. There's just no other way to explain what has happened
Valiant
here.
is in the number 13 position now. Like they're very much middle of the pack after riding the bottom all of first stage.
Like being drug at the bottom, like
Yep.
drug with an anchor.
Their Valiant is currently beating. They're tied with Boston at 13 at the moment. They're currently beating Toronto Defiant, who was in the stage playoffs last stage.
Yep.
So I don't know. Things are very fluid. And Chengdu almost made stage playoffs. Like, how crazy would that have been? Oh my! I would have loved. I mean, I love that Shanghai's there. Like, good on them. But I would have loved to have seen Chengdu like doing their shenanigans in the big show. That would have been awesome. That being said, I don't think Shanghai is going to be around much longer because tomorrow they play San Francisco Shock, who this stage has not lost a
Has
single
Turned
map.
it on. I mean,
They
hello.
had the first team to ever get a perfect stage. Not a single map. 28-0. 4-0 the entire time. And it has been beautiful to
Well,
watch.
Props.
I'm looking forward to the Shock versus Titans match. That is going to be a good time. And then New York plays Dallas. So tomorrow is the playoffs.
Looking at the. I'm looking at. In a minute.
Look at the schedule.
Stage 2, stage playoffs.
Oh, sorry. No, Dallas plays Vancouver.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say, like, One of us is wrong.
Okay.
Well,
saw
I'm
them-
proud. I'm proud of my boys in blue for making it to the playoffs. Good job. Good on you.
I don't see them beating Vancouver.
No, I don't either. I hate it. I hate to say it. I'll be rooting hard, but
Yeah.
I don't see it. Again, I'd love to be wrong. I mean, it's within the realm of possibility because, Dallas has shown improvement. There's nothing else. They've been a lot more consistent, but unfortunately, so is Vancouver on a whole level above them.
Yep.
So, but again, Atlanta beating
So-
XL twice, all I'm saying is crap could happen.
Yeah. So San Francisco may have had the best stage so far in stage 2. But Vancouver is still the only team to have never lost a match. So, because they didn't lose one, they won the stage 1 finals. They didn't lose a single match.
Like handily won, we might add.
Yeah. So New York lost to who did they lose to?
New York?
New York lost to
Shock. No.
Shock. Yeah.
Fusion or Shock? Playoffs? They lost the Soul. My bad.
I was about to say I thought it was like someone really like off the wall.
My bad. Because I remember this game, or should, because it's the only game I've ever rooted for Soul Dynasty. Whoops.
Well, it was weird. So, but Vancouver won this stage 1. And then, so they didn't lose any matches all stage 1, along with New York. Both of them went undefeated. But now New York has lost twice to Atlanta in stage 2. So, and they lost to Seoul during the playoffs. So, Vancouver, I think they're still very strong. People don't talk about them a whole lot, which is weird.
People don't talk about them because it's one of these things where you just, like, at this point, they're just taken for granted now. I think.
Yeah.
Like, they're there. Like, we know you boys are fine. Let's talk about everybody else for a minute. But
But like Shock is on it, so I'm looking forward to the Vancouver Shock match. I think Vancouver can soundly beat New York at the moment. I think Shock could beat New York at the moment. So I'm looking forward to the new and improved Shock fight in Vancouver. I think it'll be interesting.
that will be a very explosive.
Mm-hmm.
No two ways about it. So yeah. So as it stands for tomorrow, official predictions: Shock beat Dragons
Soundly.
very soundly.
London will beat Spark. I like Spark. But
Yeah,
I think
but
London-
I'm thinking, of course,
I'm not as sure about that one. Like
I'm not either, because that's like, it's one of these things to where my prediction, just based on the past, goes for London, but also basing on the past, is London's kind of been.
Yeah, London is shaky. They're not consistent.
So that could go one of two ways, but I'm with you. My vote's London on that one.
Of the 4 first round matches, I think that's the one with the biggest chance of an upset. I don't really see any situation whatsoever where Shock and New York will not lose. New York, as hard of a time as they're having right now, I don't see them losing to the Gladiators. I want to say, like, winning during the Dallas match, I will be rooting for Dallas. Like, they're my number 2 team. But I honestly, I'm sorry, buddy. I don't.
No,
see them.
Titans. Yeah, it's again. I'll be rooting for Dallas hard, but it's just one of these things. I'll be for him. Again, it's not like it's a no hope thing, but it's just you just gotta, like, just the realism of it.
Mhm.
And again, I will root Dallas. I do not bandwagon any of these other better teams, or more consistently better teams, or however way you want to call it. Dallas fan first and foremost, but bad draw for round 1 of the playoffs.
Yes,
They made it to the playoffs though.
Yes, they
Like,
did.
that is my win for stage 2. Is fact Dallas Fuel made it to the playoffs. They did not make it to the playoffs stage 1. They barely ever made it to the playoffs last season. So it only took them till stage 2 to make an appearance in the playoffs. I'm happy. I know they're happy about it. So they're going to go out. They're going to swing it, Titans. And as Jane likes to say, they're going to see if they can make their nose bleed, if nothing else. So.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that one.
It'll be interesting.
Well, I think that about wraps it up.
I think so, man. Like it's a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, which earlier makes me wary for next week. E3 needs to hurry the fuck up and get here. we have more shit to talk about. And of course, the Ghost Recon reveal happens tomorrow. Like, we need to rework the schedule. That's all there is to it. Like, we need to rework the schedule. Oh my god. Almost like we got this other stupid podcast in the way on Thursdays. Almost we could just do it then. Go figure.
Shit.
Yeah. Bunch of bullshit.
Well,
Not like the podcast is fun or anything. It's bullshit.
Well, everybody, I'm Toarn. You can find me at twitch.tv/Toarn, as well as twitter.com/Toarn, as seen below. Thanks for hanging out.
Of course, guys, KaverJ, Twitch handle, twitch.tv/KaverJ, Kaver_J on the Twitter. I feel the need to make this rant slightly because other people who I hang out with in other streams, they put an R in the name. There's no R. It's not Carver J.
Carver J?
Sick actually has my name in our time slot as Carver J.
That's
I don't know how to I don't know how to politely say there's not an R, dude. Whatever. Guys.
So, we need to raid somebody.
We do need to raid somebody. I don't know who's up. So you look. I don't care who's up.
Just did. I got one. Let me send it to you. All right.
Oh, okay, perfect.
We're gonna raid our buddy Curly, guys. Be nice and say hello. Thanks for hanging out.
Later, guys. Friend Curly, really? What?
We've been on his talk show.
Drink on the. But you just, I think anybody who gives you an opportunity to drink and just gab is just friends by default. Just friends by default. Move Tpop for Friday so we could all drink again. I like this idea.
Who said this?
Oh, Dragon. Who else encourages our alcoholic tendencies on stream as often? I also did the wrong command.
Like, I think people are saying it. It's not showing up in my chat.
There we go. Can't down for raids for so long. All right, bye, guys.